sometimes it's tough love. It's very frustrating on both sides. And we thought that if we knew at that time that the process of getting someone help was long, hours and hours and hours. So we knew if we paired them with someone who had no judgment, who had no call except to be there and be empathetic, that they were more likely to stay and wait for that treatment. So we wanted a place to take them, and we wanted a way to keep them there, and that's what we announced. And then we announced that at the forum, and it got a great response. And then we announced it on Facebook in just that way on May 4th. And the Facebook post hit 2.4 million people. Wow. And it was shared 30. Thank you very much. Is it the suit or what I just said? You'd be surprised how many times people look at me and say fabulous. So 2.4 million times across the country, shared another 30,000 times to another 40 million people in all 50 states and 61 countries. So that was not our reaction. Our reaction was shit. What did we just do? What did we just do? We have 65 cops in the city, and 61 countries are looking at this program. And what are we going to do? So that was May 4th, and we announced that we were starting June 1st. We had nothing going on. We were just... But what happened? What happened is that we found that the law enforcement voice, for some reason, the conservative entity of law enforcement, entering this conversation from a different side, from not a lock-up and throw away, but a compassionate, professional, non-judgmental, dignified experience with a segment of the population, gained enormous support. And it gained support in the form of treatment centers that, because of this post, called us. It gained support from pharmacies that called us. It gained support from other police departments that called us. So by June 1st, we had 17 centers across the United States offering scholarships for anybody that wasn't a Mass resident or was a Mass resident who couldn't get into a Mass program. We had two major chains, CVS and Walgreens, come to us and say, we'll offer Narcan to anybody in Gloucester for under $20 a dose, whether or not they have insurance, which was cheaper than the police department was paying for it. So we just send officers over there, just like one at a time. So now we had, we started getting cocky. We said, yeah, we have treatment centers and we have pharmacies on board and we have police departments that are interested. We're ready to go. June 1st, man, open the doors up. Let's go. Let's put people into treatment like it was going to be that easy. Right? And everybody in the room knows it's not that easy. So June 1st came, and we're standing intrepid at the doors, and nobody walked in. Because the joke had been either we're going to get 1,000 or we're going to get nobody, because nobody's going to trust the police that we're not going to sit there with handcuffs ready to jump out. Not going to lie. And then the whole day passed, and then midnight passed, and then 3 a.m. on the second day, someone walked in. Right? The worst possible scenario person walked in. It couldn't be from Massachusetts, couldn't be from Gloucester first, couldn't be from Massachusetts, couldn't even be from a surrounding state. California, wow. With insurance. A lady in Danvers had read the Facebook post, sent it to her relatives in California, somehow got to this kid. The kid contacted the lady in Danvers. She said, I'll buy you a plane ticket, take you to Gloucester myself. Bought him a plane ticket and took him right to Gloucester. And he shows up, and we're like, we don't know what to do with you. We weren't even sure what we were going to do with the Massachusetts people. Never mind you, idiot. Why'd you come all the way across the country? They don't know addiction on the West Coast. So what we did is we just kind of we just did what we do best in law enforcement, is we don't take no for an answer, and we have a hard time not winning. And a lot of times it works to our disadvantage with the public, and a lot of times in this particular case it works to our advantage. We found him a scholarship bed in California and put him on a plane. And we paid for the ticket. Because it was a $400 ticket versus whatever it would have cost us to arrest, charge, whatever. And we'll get into that in a few minutes. And then people started trickling in, and more people started trickling in. And so today, we have had, well, let me give you the number afterwards. So we started with facilitating them to the hospital, okay? Do we have ER people here? Oh, good, they suck. Right, so you raised your hand really late. You set me up. No, you don't. You're great at what you do, but you're not set up for substance abuse, and you shouldn't have to be. Is that true? All right, thanks. So, you don't suck personally, but, I mean, I don't know you. Maybe you do. Your department sucks. Anyway, because we brought 2 people into the emergency room over 3 days, and they screamed bloody murder, that we were overloading their emergency room, and we couldn't possibly take any more of these sick individuals, because we don't do that here. Okay, so we're going to send our clinicians to you. We're going to send our clinicians to the police station. You can do it all there. We don't want them in the ER. We said, fine, we'll take them. So we're also a very impatient breed. We're an impatient, segment of society when we're wearing our uniforms. We want everything to be done. So we can go get coffee and donuts. So what we were finding is that clinicians who do fabulous work, I heart clinicians. I had it tattooed like somewhere over there. Because you guys are great. The clinicians do great work, but you're so overworked, and you have so many places you have to be. Yeah. At 8 o'clock in the morning, you got 17 places and 100 people you got to look at. And you can't spend time with everyone going down the list of treatment centers and going down again and going down again. You got to go down once and you got to go here. I'm sorry, we couldn't find your bed. We don't close, and we only have the person who's in front of us. We don't have to be anywhere else. So for the next 30 or 40, we watched how the clinicians would do their work, and it would be come in, anywhere from 1 to 6 hours because they had other places to be. Do the intake, which took 45 minutes. Start calling down the list. In the 20% of the time they were able to find a bed, they would put them on the center, on the phone with the center, and the center would do another 45-minute intake. Yeah. I discovered all kinds of new terms like coexisting and dual diagnosis. And, what's the other one? Comorbidity. They're going to be like, yeah, cool. So we learned all this stuff, and we said, look, we love you guys, but my guys are like, oh, I can't wait for the consult. I'm just going to start calling numbers, and then I'll get a bed, and I'll wait for the clinician to get here. And our list started expanding from the lists that were typically handed out, copied and handed out to the clinicians that might have had 8 to 10 centers. Our list grew quickly because we asked stupid childlike questions because we had no idea about the healthcare industry. So we asked the question that every 3-year-old you've ever met asks, and what's that? Why? We don't have a bed. Why? We have a female bed, but no male bed. Well, why can't you move the female bed into the male bed? we don't do it. Why? So we asked all these questions, and they would say, call this person, call that person, and we ended up with a list of about 22 centers in Massachusetts. And now today, we do all the intakes ourselves. We don't have clinicians come in. Wow. Our police officers do all the intakes. We do not do the clinical part. We take them in, we check them for the caveats that we couldn't accept a person into the program. If you have an outstanding arrest warrant, we have to clear that up. That's a court order. If you're a danger to other people, we can't take you in. Obviously, we don't want to. We'll take you to the hospital, see if we can get you evaluated, but we won't take you into the program. If you have 3 or more convictions, not arrests, for drug offenses, and one of them is a conviction for distribution or hire, we have the right to refuse you. We haven't refused anybody who's had that record so far. We have placed 100% of the people that have walked through our doors within 24 hours. As 287 people who have walked through our doors since June 1st, all placed. The average time is 2 hours. We have a contest to see who can break the record for the fastest from walking in the door to when we put them on our partner transportation. And the record is held by me. And it's 17 and a half minutes. And this was what was really cool, is that as we started doing this and it gained momentum, the local ambulance company came in and said, we want to offer rides to anybody, to any center in Massachusetts. Well, they were charging us. They weren't charging us crazy money. So what they would do is they would take the patient, if they could bill Mass Health or they could bill the insurance company, they would do it. But if they couldn't, they would charge us $75 a ride in an ambulance anywhere in the state. You can't drive in an ambulance from here to the kitchen door for under $1,700, right? So we thought that was a good deal. And then we had the local cab company come in and say, we'll take them for nothing. Because everyone has an addicted person. Everyone. Amen. I feel like I'm in church. I got a table over here that's just like groupies. So, and then Uber came in. Right? And I didn't even know Uber was a thing. So they said, we want to partner with you all over the United States. Anywhere you take somebody, we want to be there to pick them up and take them wherever they're going for nothing. And we want to train all our drivers in Narcan and put a button on our app so that if you need Narcan, you can hit a button on our app and go to. Don't clap, because we can't partner with them because they're in so much trouble with the feds. So that hasn't happened yet. But it's in the works. And we've had a lot of agencies step up and say, look, just simply that I haven't, this has touched me as well. And I have a company that does this, and I want to help. It's sort of like the Kevin card. If you build it, they'll come. I said no cell phones, I'm out of here. So 280 some odd people into treatment, great success stories. The efficacy of the program does not rely for us on whether or not someone relapses or there's a recidivism rate is better or worse. For us, police, it's about facilitating into treatment as opposed to arrest. We love our relapses, not that they relapse, but we love that they come right back to us. What we tell people when they come in the door is you just started the first day of the last recovery you will ever have in your whole life. Because the Gloucester Police Department is going nowhere for the next 1,000 years. And if you decide, as long as you come in with a willingness to get help, we will help you over and over and over and over and over again with no judgment. So then, as I said, nasal Narcan pricing went down. We know that our Attorney General, Maura Healey, won a settlement against Alpha Star for $325,000 in August or September, where they said, we were kind of gouging the price a little bit. And they paid $325,000 to the public safety Narcan bulk purchasing account so that at least can keep costs down for public safety so that we'll all have it. And I think we can take care of the rest of that pricing with Narcan so it's affordable and available to everybody. And the legislative piece is coming along nicely. As you've seen with the Senate proposed bill, the governor's proposed bill, and now you'll see input that we've had into the House of Representatives bill that will be proposed probably in the next couple of weeks. The governor has taken a great stand. A lot of this success is timing, finally, right? We are dealing with something that you guys have all dealt with for years. We in law enforcement were late to the game, sorry, but we're here. The cavalry's here for you. We want to lend our voice to you to make it stronger by saying we refuse to do this. We refuse to work for pharmaceuticals and insurance companies who would rather a patient be incarcerated or dead. We want to get a person with a diagnosed illness into treatment. And believe me, it's a hard mindset for a cop to follow because we're so used to doing things in the ingrained way of arrest and just let everybody else deal with it. But we see that it's been adopted now. We have 55 treatment centers in 19 states. And we have $6 million in scholarships available to the Gloucester program. So we have the ability to send anyone